All right, so we're going to talk about, we're going to do a complete breakdown of the strategic strength. Just grabbing my notes here real quick. Oh, not really notes. Oh yeah, here it is. I need to know what the questions are. I wrote down the questions that I'm going to answer. So I'm going to, in this video for strategic, I'm going to break down how does it work on its own? How do you use it to build confidence? How do you use it to build relationships? How do you use strategic to build a network marketing or a coaching business, excuse me? And how do you use strategic to be more organized? What is the worst way to use strategic? And what if you have strategic low? So in this video, I'm going to break down all the answers to those questions so that for those of you that have it high or low, high, by the way, is 1 to 10, low is 30 through 34. Okay, so that's how that works. So if you've got strategic in the top 10 or in the bottom 5, let me know in the comments. And let me know what are some things you've observed about strategic as I break this down. First off, how does the strategic strength work on its own? So Gallup describes strategic as, well, I would summarize it like this, is seeing multiple different ways and sometimes alternate ways or unique ways to do things, or to travel somewhere, or to get somewhere, or to connect with someone, or to inspire someone, or to be more productive or creative. Strategic is about multiple different ways of being able to do things. When a person has strategic high, oftentimes what their minds do, usually it's because it starts with strategic, starts here, right? What their minds do is they map things out. Like, so that when they're in a room, they kind of like know where everything is. When they're in relationships, they want to know who everyone is and where they're coming from and where they're going, or, so bottom line is that strategic spend their time looking and mapping out different ways of getting somewhere or doing things. Oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes strategics have really good sense of direction. But the bottom line is strategics are all about what is the best way to get somewhere. Now, I'm going to share with you a brief limitation that strategic has, and it's based on their knowledge. So I'm going to pull that back up later when I talk about the worst way to use strategic. It is based on their knowledge. So if you have strategic high, this is how you use it to build confidence. So when you're a strategic, for you, it's exciting to find creative or faster, more efficient ways to get somewhere or do things. And so how you build confidence in this situation is not by thinking this through. And it's certainly not by looking in the mirror and saying, you're amazing, you can find different ways. It's about becoming skilled at helping others try one of your pathways. Okay, let me help you understand what I mean by this. I'm not talking about influencing or motivating or challenging or connecting or even telling people what to do. It's about sharing a pathway with someone and that person actually trying it and it works, and them coming back to you and say, hey, it worked. And so how you build confidence with strategic is not in your own self, because anyone with strategic already knows how to get somewhere and there's already a belief, even if you're wrong. But it's when your strategic strength benefits others, right? And that's when you're really building confidence. And so if you have strategic high, look for opportunities and ways to build confidence that way. Now, if you're watching this video right now and you have strategic in your top 10, let me know where. If you got it in the bottom, like between 30 and 34, let me know where. All right, so let's talk about how a person with strategic builds relationships, and then I'll talk about network marketing and coaching businesses. So first, when a person with strategic wants to build relationships, it's about remembering. It's about a memory. Strategic is really cool at figuring out how things got to where they are and where they're going. And so when you think about building relationships around strategic, it's around building trust. And when you build trust with strategic, you ultimately, you build connections, and those connections can be very valuable. And so when you're a strategic, it's remembering where people are, where they're going, and how they want to get there. And when you do really good at remembering those things, you build stronger relationships, especially business ones. The other way I would encourage you to build relationships, and this is, for me, this is something I have to try hard to do sometimes, but it's to let people know that if they ever need anything, right? If they ever need anything, like a way to get something or a way to get somewhere or a way to do something, it's important to let people know that you have strategic as a strength. And when you do, you're kind of letting them know what kind of friend you can be. And you're more than just a friend who just hangs out and, says, here, cry on my shoulder. It's more like I'm a resourceful friend. And so if you have strategic high, be clear with people. Let them know, hey, I just want you to know I'm a really resourceful friend. So if you ever need a way to get into something or do something or be somewhere, message me. If I don't know a way, I can find a way. And so that's kind of how, strategics build network marketing and coaching businesses. Because let's think about this. If you want to build a network marketing business, let's talk about this now. If you want to build a network marketing business or a coaching business, it's all about your ability to generate leads, convert those leads into prospects, convert those prospects into paying customers, and then convert those paying customers into people who generate leads for you. Let me say that again. Leads to prospects, prospects to customers, customers to generating leads for you. And so that's a fabulous strategy, wouldn't you say? Right? And if you do that enough, you get to the point where you don't have to generate leads for yourself anymore. And so how does a strategic, right, build a network marketing business and a coaching business? It's through that process. It's how can I bring people in? How can I help them get from where they are to where they want to be? How can I encourage them to find joy in the process of bringing other people with them, and then offer opportunities and strategies to make that happen? Strategics oftentimes will see the puck, where the puck is going. I just used a sport reference. Let me just go back. In hockey, there's a thing called a puck. It's the little round thing that the hockey players are, knocking around. And Wayne Gretzky, probably one of the greatest strategists of our day, said, don't go where the puck is, right? As you're watching the hockey game, he would say, go where the puck is going to be. Now, what strategics do really well is they map out the patterns on how things get from where they are to where they want to be. This is the second way a strategic builds a network marketing business and a coaching business, is they're there to help people navigate what's in front of them and beyond that. For me, when people work with me, not only am I mentoring them to help them get from where they are to where they want to be, but I'm also letting them know what are the obstacles that are going to come up. For example, I just did a training this afternoon where I told people, here's what you got to do to be successful that anyone can do, no matter what their strengths are. And when I dialed up the number of times they have to do it, that's when everybody in the rooms was like, oh, that's too much, or that's too hard. And so I let them know, yeah, that's where I'm trying to get you. I want to get you to the point where you are in fear and worried that who you are is not enough. And the reason I want to get you there is so that we can rip out what's called a leash. And when we rip the leash out, this is the thing that holds you back. When we rip that out, and I'll show you how I can't show you how I do that, but basically when I rip that leash out of you, right, the next time I challenge you, you move faster. Let me just outline this pathway one more time. Here's where you are. Here's where you want to be. And then I come in and say, here's the best way to get there, right? Using your strengths. And then I'm going to say, let's go. We're going to set the bar high and go. At this point, right around here, you're going to experience resistance, fear, self-doubt, all of that stuff. You're going to get distracted very easily. You're going to find different ways to not do your work. And instead, you're going to do something else. And I'm letting them know, I want you to get there on purpose so that when you get there, we'll be able to ask you the correct question. I'll be able to ask you the correct questions to pull what's in you out of you that's keeping you locked up. Right here. It happens every single time. And it's the same with every single person. You get locked up. And I take you through a process called the unleashing process, where we unleash you from this tether. Instead of bouncing back and forth like this, you move forward. You see, that's what strategics do. That's what I do, right? I already know the path. And I'm going to have like plans for you every step of the path to help you get there. That's how you build a network marketing and a coaching business as a strategic. Map out the path for people because you've been there, done that, and seen it all. And so for me, this is how strategics work. Now, how does a strategic get organized? Same exact way. Now, by the way, this is not necessarily an organizing muscle, okay? It can be, but it's really not necessarily. The best, most powerful organizing muscle you have is your body, right? So your hands, your arms, your legs, your feet, that kind of thing. So when you're trying to organize, using a strategic strength, it's not about thinking through this process. It's about looking at where everything is and realize it all got there. Like if it's disorganized, it all got there for a certain reason, and how it got there and how it keeps ending up there is the pattern. And that's how you ultimately become more organized with strategic, is you recognize the pattern and you change the pattern. This is also how high strategics change the patterns of their family. When you have strategic high and you've seen the patterns in your family that you never want to replicate, this is another way where you're just like, I'm going to make sure that I don't get there like the rest of my family did. And so you organize that way. So what is the absolute worst way to use strategic? And this is going to be really helpful for those of you with egos, especially, like myself, huge ego, big head. When you have strategic high, the worst way to use strategic is to believe you know all the pathways. That's it. The worst way to use strategic is to believe you know all the pathways. You don't. You don't know all the pathways. You only know all your pathways. And so the worst way to use strategic is to believe there aren't more. That's it. You see, if you have strategic high and you're really good at getting from one place to the other and you think you don't need any help with that, this is the worst way to use strategic. So no matter where you are, for me, strategic is what I call the hope strength as well. I call it the hope strength. I don't just call it the overwhelming strength. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you why I call it the overwhelming strength, because people with strategic can easily overwhelm people because you know so many different ways to get somewhere. It's kind of how it works. But the problem that happens is that you believe that you know all the ways when you only know all your ways. And what you get to do as a high strategic is plan ahead and research, talk to people, ask people, how do they get from where they are to where they want to be? And if you have strategic high and you're struggling with the result and you're going to hold on to your ego that you've got this figured out, this is where you've made the mistake. Go talk to someone and find out how they do it, and you're going to learn something new. In fact, I had to do this just recently. When I realized the biggest shift in our culture when it comes to social media marketing, I'm just going to say something that might violate some of your core values. But right now, it's a little bit more on the quantity than it is the quality. A little bit more on the quantity, a little less on the quality. Just a little bit more. That might violate your rule, that's fine. But that's just something I am recognizing. The people that are putting out more are the ones that are winning over those that are trying to make it nicer. Okay, just saying, that's what I'm seeing. You don't have to agree with me, but I'm seeing it a lot. And so this is actually something that's I've adjusted in my own business too. So what else we got here? Last thing is, if you have strategic low, you just have to repeat this statement. I don't have to know all the pathways. So if you have strategic, like say between 28 and 34, just say this out loud or put it in the comments. I don't have to know all the pathways. I don't have to know all the pathways. I don't have to get there creatively. I don't have to get there creatively. I don't have to know all the pathways. I don't have to get there creatively. I don't have to know all the pathways. I don't have to get there creatively. And so, my friends, if you have strategic lows, say these affirmations to help release your need to be something you're not in order to get what you want. Okay. So that's it on strategic. Have an awesome day. I hope you got value from this. What strength do you want me to do next? Let me know in the comments as fast as you can, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye, everybody.